What's behind door number 2? Well, maybe not as much as what's behind door number 3. I had a bunch of stuff that was just left in front of my door to get rid of, see if anything is any good, anything can be salvaged, and get rid of it. And yeah, I think I did okay. I think I did okay. You'll have to wait to find out. I'm not letting the cat out of the bag just yet, but I think I did okay on this one. I had some old junk that was donated, basically for me to recycle. Not repair. Most of the stuff's going to be going into the landfill, or not landfill, but to the recycling. But basically, what I'll be doing is there's some computers and stuff. We'll go through it. We're going to wipe data and stuff off them if possible before sending them off. This is an iPad. As you can see, it's seen better days. It's a 32 gig iPad. It's an old one. The screen is broken, so this one is dead. But we're going to open it up and just see what's inside this thing, because some of you might like to see how these old iPads and stuff were actually built. So I think the first thing I need to do is I need to throw some heat on this so that I can peel the screen off. So let me grab my little trusty heat gun. We'll throw some heat on this and get the screen off of it and take a look at the guts of it before I get rid of it. And say this is just going to be a little fun video to take a look at some of this crap and see how well it was built and what's in it, because I've never been into one of these ones before. Oh, look at that. Say this one's dead. I got other stuff here. This is not a repair video, unless I can get there's some Windows computers there. We'll see if they'll boot up. But mostly this is just going to be a series of teardowns just to get rid of some of this crap, and then it's off to recycling. It goes, because I got like 3 boxes dropped off at my door this morning from one of my neighbors saying, here, you might want to take a look at this stuff. If there's anything that's any good, you can have it. Otherwise, just turf it, which is what's going to happen. So on this unit, I think if I throw some heat around the edge here, I should be able to get the screen to pop open on this. So I'm not trying to save anything because it's dead. So whatever we need to do to get the screen apart, we'll do. And it's just kind of like that, just heat it up, and it's going to let the double-sided tape go, and it should open up. Obviously, we don't want to put so much heat on here that the battery combusts. I think the battery is probably dead on this unit now, but still. Being a lithium lithium-ion device, you don't want to put excessive heat on things. So we're just going to warm up the edges here. See whether we can spudge our way in. Now once again, this screen's already broken, so I'm not too worried about if it breaks more, because at least the digitizer part of it, I think this has got a separate digitizer. Yeah, the digitizer is shot on this one anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that coming apart. And I'm not too concerned about anything on here, to tell you the truth, because it's garbage. I was talking to a fella, and I don't know how valid this is. I have not yet tried this yet, but maybe some of you guys have and might know about. There we go. There's the digitizer. Of course, that was ripped. I probably ripped that. Anyway, we can just do that because this is shot. It's broken, as you can see. It's got cracks in it. Teslas, cars we love to hate. someone was telling me, and again, I don't know how valid this is because I have yet to try it, but I'm waiting for the opportunity to try this. But somebody was telling me that if somebody gets a little too close to you in their Tesla and they're following you and they're riding your ass, just turn on your four-way flashers and the car will automatically slow down. The autonomous driving and collision avoidance will take over, and it doesn't matter that the guy's pushing on the gas trying to climb up on your ass. If the car detects four-way flashers, it slows down. I haven't tried that one yet, but I tell you, the next time someone sits on my ass in a Tesla, we're going to find out if that works. Maybe some of you guys can elaborate on that who have tried it. Does it work? So I thought that was kind of an interesting little topic, because there seems to be a lot of hate on for Teslas lately. Especially the Cybertruck. I saw a video on Facebook. The guy was just happened to, somebody sent me a link on it, so I happened to look at this video that had been posted, and there was a guy beating on a Cybertruck, pulled the whole back bumper off. It was funny. I laughed all the way through it. It's totally destroying an expensive car like that just because it was a Tesla. Oh, cool. Look at all the batteries in this thing. Take the screen out. The screen probably is still okay on this unit. We'll just unplug it here. Be a clip, I think, that has to come undone. There we go. So that screen is probably okay. It doesn't matter though, because I'm not parting it out, unless someone wants it real quick, because this is going to be going to recycling. I like this. Assembled in China, of course. Warning: potential for fire or burning. Do not disassemble, puncture, crush, heat, or burn. What I don't know is exactly how the battery comes out. Is that a SIM card holder? Right down here, this looks like it's a SIM card holder. This one's got an LTE radio in it. You could put a SIM card in here. There's the slot for it. You punch a little pin in there, and that'll pop the tray out, and you can put a SIM card in this one. Interesting. Let's remove some screws and see what pops out on this unit. I'm not so crazy about trying to pry out these batteries if they're glued down, just because I don't want to risk anything in here. I was in a local cell store buying a battery for my work phone, and the guy was showing me that at the store they had a little fire. He's showing me this big burn mark right in the middle of the floor, where I guess they damaged a battery removing it, and the battery went off. They just chucked it down in the middle of the concrete floor, and the thing went up. Lithium batteries make me nervous, and rightly so, because we've seen the carnage that they have caused when they've gone nuclear. Not fun. And the real problem I have with Apple products, I don't like any Apple products, but the real problem I have with Apple themselves is that it's pretty much impossible to recycle and reuse their old products, because if you don't know the Apple ID password, you can't use the unit. You can't even reset it. I've got an iPad that is useless. It basically needs to just go to recycling. My wife got it from one of her old clients who passed away, and of course left all of her crap to my wife. her computer and her iMac and the whole bit, and her iPad. And the problem is it can't be used because, well, it's locked down and we don't know the password to get into the Apple ID account. And Apple won't unlock it. There are ways to do it. The procedure that I was told had to be followed was that we needed to get the death certificate, and then the death certificate had to be certified, which doesn't come free. And then you have to send it off and pay a fee. And once it's certified that the person that you are now the rightful owner because you were gifted it in a will, for example, then and only then will they unlock it. But the cost to do that was greater than the cost of the value of the unit. So the desktop, or the iMac, was scrapped, and the iPad is still sitting in a box, but it's going to obviously have to be scrapped too because it's no good unless someone knows how to get around that. But so far the only solution I found is to go through the procedure and get it unlocked by Apple, and again you got to present them with all the legal paperwork. What we were attempting to do at the time when the previous owner, when they passed away, she had a bunch of photos on her iPad and on her desktop, and we were trying to get the photos off so that a celebration of life could be done for the woman, and get the photos off it for just for her service. But to say we couldn't do anything. We couldn't unlock the unit and get in, and the costs involved and the time involved to do it just did not make it feasible. So say the unit was just dumped. So this is basically the entire board here for an iPad. Everything's all on one board. I think this module here, this is probably the radio module, SIM card plugged into that for the 3G or LTE for cellular connection anyway. So say this whole unit is being disposed of, and I'm just tearing this thing down to basically destroy the chips in it so that any information that's on there someone can't just read. That is what I was asked to do on it. I was asked to make sure that it is completely wiped and that there's no possible chance that any information that could be stored on the chips can be retrieved. So we're going to pull the chips out, and basically I'm going to break the memory chips. Is what I'm up to here. That's why I'm taking it to this point here, to get into here. It's got Samsung memory chips in it. There you go, Apple with Samsung memory chips. We're going to remove the chips from the board using the heat gun away from the lithium batteries. There's the Apple A5 processor right there. Man, that was hard to remove those chips. I had to heat that thing up like you wouldn't believe. Like it's hot as fire, this board now. But these are a couple of memory chips here. Samsung memory chips. BGA chips, of course. Here's the Apple processor. Look at all the connection points on here. Like that is just amazing. Look at every single little ball grid joint here, BGA. See, they put a coating on the back of the board to keep moisture and stuff away from the back of the board here. Because this is something that's never ever intended to be serviced, right? If these break, you just toss them. Also, just in case you guys are curious as to what's going to happen with this unit, well, this is going up to the recycling center. And I'm just going to put the screen back on because I don't need the screen. I have no use for it. And I'm just going to put it back together and kind of just set the digitizer back on. Everything's back in here except for the chips that I pulled, which had data on them that needed to be securely destroyed, which it has been. Everything else has gone back in here. I'm not going to throw all the screws back in. And that is now going to be recycled responsibly, which is what we do with our electronics here in Canada. This will be broken down. The recycling center will take this out. They will remove the batteries. They throw some heat on them to break the glue, and probably pour some isopropyl alcohol to break the bond off of the tape, the double-sided tape that holds the batteries in. I'm not going to do that. I'll leave that to the pros. That's what their job is. That's what they're paid to do. When you buy a unit like this in Canada, you pay a recycling fee that covers the cost of disposal once it's reached its end of life, which it has. So they'll recover the aluminum, the copper, the circuit boards, and everything are in there. Everything is in there except for the chips that I took out. They'll recover everything that can be recovered off this and recycle it responsibly. So let's go on to the next one. Bunch of other goodies that came in the box. A BlackBerry charger. What is the end on this? Is it USB? What is the connector on the end of this thing? This might be kind of useful. Oh, look. I think this is useful. A BlackBerry travel charger with a micro USB. This is going to be putting out, how much power is this? What this one put out? 700 milliamps. So this will charge up any or operate any USB type device that's still out there. I'm going to hang on to this, that's for sure. That's if it works, but we'll test that. What other stuff in here? Another good cable to hang on to is a 3.5 stereo. This one would have been for a camcorder, but it'll work for audio as well. It's just a standard 3.5 stereo type plug, tip ring and ground. This is another good find. This is a battery charger. It's a Sony battery charger. It'll be for nickel metal hydrate batteries, AA type, AA or triple nickel metal hydrate battery charger. I'll do both the AAA and AA size. A TELUS remote control. Well, I don't need these, but I got a truck full of these. That can go back and be recycled while I go back to work. This one looks to be a broken cable. Oh, here's a real old school power bar. I don't know that I would trust this these days, but it's a Centrex that looks like it's had seen better days. It's got a circuit breaker on it, a power tap. See, this is what I would call a power tap. I would not call this a power bar, because this is one of those cheap, regular plastic power taps. A power bar is what I have. I know somebody took offense to me calling it a power bar before, but a real power bar is what one I have over here on the wall. That one is a power bar. It has real outlets, and it's made out of metal. And if you want to plug a space heater into that, it's not going to burst into flames. That one will handle a full 15 amps and won't break a sweat. These ones are getting kind of rare these days. It's old. I replaced all the outlets in it a while back when I got it because they were all loose. But that one there will outlive the owner, for sure. You find one of those ones that's all metal with real outlets. Those ones are worth hanging on to. These other ones here, they're junk. That's the difference between a power strip and a power bar. This is a power strip, and they're junk. This might be useful. This is a battery pack, a battery backup, a 10,000 milliamp hour cell phone charger, basically. USB. You plug your cable into there. It's got a light on it. I just plugged it in for a second, and the light came on. It's got a flashlight built in. It's got a solar panel, so this will charge up by itself without having to plug it in. I'm sure it's dead. I'm going to stick it out in the sun and see if it'll actually take a charge. A couple PCM CIA adapters for compact flash. and a 16 megabyte compact flash card, kind of useless, and a 256 megabyte compact flash card. How far we've come, but that used to be what you would get in an older digital camera. You got 16 megabytes, or you could buy the 256 megabyte card, and this probably was $100 or more at the time. It's amazing how much memory used to cost back in the day. Nice to have. Remember these? Retractable cord mice. You pulled your mouse cord out like that, and you could use it with your laptop, and then it would just retract when you were done. Don't know if it works or not. I'll have to try it and see whether it does work. But that was a way of dealing with your USB cables for your mouse. And you just, when you were done, either you pressed a button on here or you pulled it. I think you just pulled it. You just went and it coiled back in just like that. Great for traveling. If it works, it works. If not, into the garbage it goes. Little transformer here, output AC 6 volts, 500 milliamps. So it's just a class 2. It's an AC adapter. Actually, it's just a class 2 transformer. It's not an AC adapter as in AC to DC. This one gives you an AC output for devices that require AC. For that reason, because these are a little more rare than some of the other ones, I'm going to keep that one. That's unique. This is a power cord, but it's got a different end on the end here. That's like a proprietary cord for something. Don't know what it's for, but because it's got a unique connector on it, that might be necessary for something at some point. So I think that one will get, I'll hang on to that or file that away just because it's proprietary. You never know, if I might need it someday. Even if I don't need the proprietary end on it, if I just needed a long cord, this is over 40 feet long, this cable. 40-foot extension cord. Yeah, it's not a heavy duty one, but for something light duty, that would do the job. Oh look, a stink pad Ethernet to proprietary adapter. So this is box number 1. Let's take a look behind door number 2 and see what the second box of junk brings me. Behind door number 2, I think we got zonked. What the hell is this? Well, somebody that's new. Oh, you know what this is? This is for track lighting. That's what that is for. That's a cover plate for track lighting. PowerPoint, where you connect this up to your electrical box and run your track lighting through it. That's what that is. And then that covers it up. That's, well, these are good. The toggle bolts, I'll keep those. Those are useful. I don't know that I need to keep that. It's never been used, but I don't think I get any track lighting that could use it. Another transformer here. This is a Technics adapter, and this is a proprietary one that is plus and minus 7.2 volts. And this almost looks like the connector that was used by TIAC for a certain little adapt player that I have. And it used a plus and minus 7 volt adapter. And I gave it to a buddy. And this might be the adapter for it. I'm going to ask him. Oh, you see one small problem here? This is Japanese. AC 100 volts. This should be regulated, so it should regulate to 7.2 and negative 7.2. But it's a split supply. Maybe we'll open that up and just see whether it's regulated or unregulated. But that's 100 volts, so that's kind of useless here. That's a good cable to have. S-Video. Keep that. This is the proprietary cable for a camera, it looks like. It's a Nikon Coolpix camera cable. Don't have a Nikon Coolpix. 3.5 millimeter to 2 outputs for running 2 headsets from one cable. Another cable that's probably useful. Of course, audio cables. Well, these aren't audio cable. I guess it is. What is it? Oh, it's just two cables. It's an old RF cable and an audio cable together. Telephone cord, we know where that goes. Ethernet cord, we know where that goes. Because a dime a dozen. Another audio cable, probably worth keeping. Push-on RF cable, forget it, garbage. Here we go. Here's the. This was actually a 2-line splitter for people that had 2 telephone lines. It split them into 2, so 1 jack into 2. Kind of useless these days. Nobody has 2 phone lines anymore, and if they do, they're getting it through fiber, and it's coming in on an ONT, which actually has 2 separate phone jacks on it. Speaking of these adapters, for those that don't know, they look identical, but they actually perform 2 different functions. This one here provides 2 phone lines. It splits them to 2 different jacks, so you can put a 2-line phone on either. You can see that there's 4 conductors on here, so line 1 and line 2 get fed through to both. This one here, if you look down here, it's only got 2 sets of contacts, or 1 line, 1 pair. This one takes the 4 incoming, or the 2 lines, 2 pairs, and splits them into 2 single pairs. And they usually have a dot or something on them to indicate that it's a 2-line splitter versus just a 2-phone adapter. That's the difference between these. Now these, even though we don't use these anymore, well, this one here, I could probably end up throwing that one in my truck for work, because occasionally you'll get someone who's got a phone line and a fax machine, and they want to split it and have it go both ways. This box is pretty much empty now. Not a lot of stuff in here. This is a 12-volt adapter with a blue connector, which meant it was for like a TELUS 330 standard HD box, not a PVR, because it's only a 1.67 amps. That's still going to be good. There's a DC cord here. I'll hang on to that. A power cord, some speaker wire. I'll hang on to that. Yeah. Oh, look, a PS2 to USB adapter, PS2 connector to USB, and a brand new, never used, made in Mexico outlet, Leviton. So I think I'll hang on to that. Good old AM loop antenna for receiving the 3 AM stations that are still available. Might hang on to that too, because again, you never know. And that is door number 2. And I threw away all the stuff that, including this stuff, that will never get used, ever. All right, what else did I get dropped off? The most promising of this collection is this Dell laptop. I just so happen that I have a Dell power supply, because I have a Dell laptop. It's beeping. That means that the CMOS battery is, I guess, kaput. Let's see if we can make this thing boot. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's screwed. It's just beeping. This might be one for the scrap heap. Let's just see whether it will do anything. I hear it beeping. It's doing something. Beeping 5 times. I don't know what 5 beeps means on this, but it has HDMI on it. So this can't be that old, this machine. I hit F2 for setup, and let's just see whether it's just the it's got a 500 gigabyte hard drive in it, so it says, a 90 watt adapter. Is this a 90 watt adapter that I'm plugged into? Maybe that's why. Maybe the adapter is not. Should be. I mean, this is a relatively modern adapter. It's a 90 watt adapter, so it's the right adapter for it. Let's just see why it does not want to boot up. Boot priority. It says resuming Windows is beeping. Why it's beeping, I don't know. Maybe the battery's no good. But it looks like it's going to boot up. Oh, look, Windows 7 Professional. Swipe your finger to log in. Of course, it needs a password, but you have to tag with the password printed on it. So let's just see if it will actually boot up. 3YM 8 WW7 Q7F. Is that the right password. Login bad. Of course. So I'm going to go through the process to try to get this computer to start. So I did a hard shutdown, and I'm just going to start up the repair option and see if I can get this to start up and bypass the startup password. I should mention, to get to this point, you start with the computer off, you fire it up, and as soon as Windows starts to boot, and you see it where it says starting Windows, you hold the power button down for about 5 seconds to do a hard shutdown, and then turn it back on, and it will come up and say Windows was unable to start. Do you want to attempt repair? And that's where we are now. It says your computer was unable to start, so I'm just waiting for it to attempt repairs, and I'm going to wait for an error screen to come up here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to wait for an error screen. It'll tell me that Windows was unable to start. So once it's cycled through, we're going to go down to where it says View Problem Details. We're going to click this, and we're going to go over to the right, and we're going to go and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to open up this one here, the very bottom one. We're going to left click on that. We're going to open that one up. Next, I'm going to, gotta see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to open this Notepad file. And that's got me to this screen here. Now I'm going to double click on Computer, and that's going to bring me up the system drive. We got to find the operating system. You go down to System 32, and I have to change this from text to all files. So I'm going to go into System 32, all files. Here. Now we're going to scroll down through past all of these folders and scroll all the way down to the S's until we find one called setHC. Okay, here's the file we're looking for, setHT. We're just going to rename that file. We'll just say change it to something like, setHC1 or HC7 or whatever. We're just going to give it a different name here. We'll just add something to it. There. How's that? So once we've renamed it, we're going to scroll back up, and we're going to look for the main command file, CMD. So we'll scroll all the way up till we get to CMD. Now, once we find command, we're going to copy it. Control C, and then we'll make a copy of that and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we will paste it down at the bottom here. Right down to the bottom here. And Control V. We've now made a copy of command. Alright, now that we've got this one copied, we're going to rename it. Hit the F2 key. We're going to rename it SETHC. So we've now made a copy of command, and we've renamed it to the other file that we renamed by adding an extra character to it. Save that. So now we have a copy, setHC, that's a copy of command. So now that we've done that, we're going to X out of this, and we're going to X out of this, and we're going to hide the problems, and we're not going to send it. Don't send. And we're going to click Finish. And this should shut down the computer. And then once it shuts down, we're going to restart the computer. So the computer is going to now attempt to start. And it's going to still prompt me for a password. At this point, we're going to hit the Shift key 5 times. And now we have a command prompt. I'm now going to type in, because I want to make changes, I'm going to type in net space user and press enter, and it'll give me a list of any of the users that are on here. So I want to get into that one. Now I'm going to type in net user, net space user, and I'm going to type in the name of the account, which just happens to be showing here. And then I'm going to press space, and I'm going to do a star. And then I'm going to hit enter. It'll say input a password for the user. Now, if I don't want to enter a password, if I enter a password, nothing's going to show on the screen. I can enter a password for that user. Or if I just want to remove the password, I can just hit enter. It'll say retype the password and confirm. I've now completed that. I've typed in no password, so there should be no password on this one now. I should be able to restart the computer and it should boot up without a password. Now I'll type in exit and select enter, and that'll remove the command prompt, and I'm back to the main screen. So now it's asking for password, but I'm just going to go and click the arrow, and now I've logged on, and I've now just removed the password from this password protected computer. Now it'll boot up. Might take a minute. We'll just give it a second here to boot up. There we go. We just used the back door to get in. And Windows 7 is now up and running. And I can now browse the computer, see what files are on here, and the whole bit. So this is why when you're getting rid of a computer, you really do need to wipe your computer clean, because otherwise anybody that finds the computer, if you think you've wiped it, you may not have. There may be information on there, and using a little simple backdoor hack like that, you can get in. And this is available. You can find this out on the internet easily on how to do it. I just kind of showed you the process that I did to get into this one. Now let's go into here and see what's on this computer. And of course, if there's any users files, I'm going to delete them, because this now is my computer and I'm going to use it. So I've just gone through and I've just wiped out all the any personal data that was left on the computer, and now I'll see if I can connect it to my network and be able to surf. This computer's so old that it has Internet Explorer on it, which of course is no longer usable. So I've got a copy of Firefox on this USB stick. We're going to try to install the Firefox onto here, see if I can surf with this computer now that it is booting up. So we go into import to view files, and I got a couple of test videos on here too that I shot with my Betacam. See if they'll play.
Putting color bars.
Yeah.
And it's telling me my tape and my battery is
plays these fine.
Capturing this.
This was recorded on my my Betacam SX.
Okay, I remember.
Let's go to this Firefox setup and get the Firefox browser installed on this computer so that it will actually be useful, because Internet Explorer, of course, is not. And then we'll remove Internet Explorer. Use it as my default. Yes, of course, because it's the only browser that's on it right now. Everything else on the computer is pretty much removed. Alright, let's just see what kind of speed I get. Now, bear in mind, this only has a 2.4 gigahertz wireless card in it. So, I'm not going to expect this to be that quick, because 2.4 is just not all that fast. But I did not see my 5 gigahertz network showing up, therefore I would say that it doesn't have it, and it doesn't. I'm only seeing 45 megabits, which is what you would expect on the 2.4 band. This one here not supporting 5 gigahertz. My actual internet speed here is a lot quicker than this. My fiber speed is around 170, about 170 megabits, somewhere like that, if I were to bring up the speed test on my phone. Getting more like 100 on my phone right now. I'm also a fair distance from my access point, which is actually on the other side of the house. So this computer has a Intel i7 2.7 gigahertz processor. It should be pretty speedy. I'm just in the process of just removing a bunch of crap from the computer, because again, I don't need any files that were on it before. I'm trying to make this computer as stock as possible so that I can actually make use of it. But there was a lot of crap left on here from the previous owner that I'm removing. I'm obviously not showing it because a lot of the stuff has got some personal information on here that I've been deleting, but we're going to get this thing completely virginized basically and back down to bare bones so that it can operate just using a basic browser, and then I can start installing other stuff back onto the computer and see how it performs. This is quite the ordeal, though. Some of these applications take a while to uninstall. It's like I've been working on this now for a couple of hours after I got it booted up, just getting software removed. It's I guess this may have been a work computer at some point because they had a bunch of VPN and security stuff and so forth on it that is taking a few minutes to uninstall. Okay, let's look at my channel here. Oh, look, I can play stuff from YouTube on this old free computer.
Chair, surprisingly lightweight.
Not complaining at all. It has an HDMI output.
And we're back. The team is looking down the
Actually, the screen on this is really good.
Can they turn it around and make this? My old friend Al came over this morning with his 1948 Buick, and it has a problem with the AM radio.
Let's see the settings here.
Just the fuse holder went back.
Kind of quality can this. I don't think this thing's going to do 4K. The screen won't do 4K, but hey, it plays it. Nope. Not quite enough bandwidth on 2.4 gigahertz for that, so we'll just drop this back here from, drop it down to 1080. That should be okay. I don't think this display does more than 1080 anyway, but don't have quite enough bandwidth. Don't have quite enough bandwidth on 2.4 gigahertz to do 4K. I guess over Ethernet it would do it fine, but over Wi-Fi it's struggling at 40 megabits, 30 megabits. But hey, the computer's working. I got it for free. It was locked down with a unknown password. I kind of showed you guys how to unlock that, how to unlock the password. I mean, there are help videos if you look on Google or YouTube. There are help videos that will do exactly what I did and teach you step by step. But I think I got all the steps in there on camera that I was doing to get it to boot. But anyway, got this little free computer to boot up now, and now I can start installing stuff on it. It's fairly quick. Yes, I know. It says I won't get future updates of Chrome because I'm running Windows 7. I run Windows 7 on all my computers here. But hey, it gets the job done. It's fast enough here, and it will certainly suit my needs for a free computer. I got one more. I've probably gone on too long on this video now, but I got one more here. Let's take a look at this other one. This is an even older one. I don't know whether this one's going to work or not. I'll show you the other laptop that was left at my door. This is an even older one. I don't believe I've got a power adapter for this. I don't think the Dell adapter is going to work on this. Maybe it will, but this is an even older Toshiba. So this is an old Satellite 2450. This thing's heavy as hell, this computer. To remove maybe it's to remove the CD drive. You could probably slap a hard drive or something. This DVD-ROM. It's not even a DVD burner. 2003. That's how old this one is. DVD-ROM and CD-RW drive. This one's probably a lost cause to try to boot this one up. I don't have an adapter for it, and for sure the battery will be gone. But this one's probably a lost cause because it's, you know, it's 2003. It's a little bit on the ancient side. At least this one's not as bad. This is actually probably a little bit newer than the laptop that I'm currently using, because my current Dell laptop is an Intel i5 and this one's an Intel i7. So this one's, and it's got HDMI on it. It's got an eSATA drive, eSATA connector, USB and eSATA, HDMI, a standard VGA out, and then it's got two USB 3 on this side, and of course the DVD rewriter, LAN. So this one's not a bad little computer. For free, I'm not complaining, and it works. And I got into it. And you see now it says, not your computer. I changed the name on it. It is now not your computer. So before I close this one off, let's just take a look at the settings. I'm going to go to Computer, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click Properties, and Windows 7 Professional. It's showing a 5.5 index. I think we could probably run this again now that I've cleaned some crap up here. It's a 64-bit operating system. Let's just see the Windows experience here. I just want to rerun this assessment and see, now that I've tuned this thing up a bit, let's just run the assessment. It's coming in at 5.5, which is pretty good. My other laptop, I think it's 4, but I think I did pretty good. A free laptop that was locked out with a password. We got in and cleaned it up. Now it's running. That made for a pretty good day for me. This is almost done here. I just want to see whether I've improved this at all. Probably going to stay the same because it's affected by the lowest rating, and it's probably the video card that selects that. But still, 5.5 for a laptop is not doing too bad at all. And it's got an HDMI out, which is nice. I should be able to fire up Netflix on here and feed an HDMI signal and record it if I want. And I'll be trying that. But I won't be showing you guys that because that would be considered piracy and YouTube would frown on that. But I'll let you know if it works. I'll let you know if I can capture protected content at some point, maybe in the comments, or we'll talk about it in a future video. But this should do the job. So we finished off at the same 5.5. That's the desktop performance is the lowest, basically the lowest setting. 3D gaming graphics came up at 6.4. Data transfer rate 5.9. Processor 7.1. Excellent, excellent. Their RAM is good. So this little free laptop isn't doing too bad, and I could probably put Windows 11 on here if I really desired to, because I think this one's probably got enough horsepower to do it, and I could throw a little bit more RAM in it too. So anyway, I think I'm going to close this one down now. I think we've wasted enough of our time on this computer, and play around with this a bit more and clean up some files and so forth. What have we got here? I'm just doing a disk cleanup, so we're going to we're going to delete all the files that are the old dead files that I've been deleting off of here, just to clean up some crap. I took a lot of stuff. There was a lot of security stuff on here that was really bogging the computer down when I first started. But I think we've got a winner here. Thanks for watching. We will catch you in the next one. Bye.